All right, let's dive straight into this explainer. Look, if you've ever found yourself just staring down the beauty aisle, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is an overwhelming maze, right? Just wall to wall products promising to miraculously fix your split ends, restore all that lost shine, the whole shebang. But we've got to ask, how much of that is just really expensive packaging, and how much is backed by actual hard science? Let's cut through the marketing fluff, shall we? To find a real, definitive answer, we are completely skipping the beauty influencers today and going straight to a rigorous scientific study from the Journal of Cosmetic Science. And they set out to answer one very simple question. Out of all the stuff on the shelves, which common everyday hair oil actually stops damage in its tracks? No sponsored posts, no fluff, just pure, peer-reviewed data. So let's meet our three contenders in this scientific showdown. First up, we have mineral oil. This is a cheap, non-greasy filler that's used extensively in commercial formulations, especially in places like India. Next is sunflower oil. This is kind of the industry's stealthy runner-up, mostly because it doesn't freeze easily and, well, it's totally odorless at room temperature. And finally, the traditional heavyweight of the group, coconut oil. Now, the absolutely crucial point here is how we actually define damage. We aren't just looking at shininess or how soft the hair feels, because let's be honest, those are highly subjective. To truly figure out if an oil is protecting your hair, we literally have to go microscopic. The true, undeniable measure of hair damage is structural protein loss. Think of it like this. Every single time you wash or comb your hair, that friction can cause the hair shaft to lose vital structural proteins. If an oil actually works, it's going to stop that protein loss from happening. To actually test this out, the researchers had a massive mountain of experimental variables to climb. I mean, they wanted to test all three different oils on different types of hair, applied both before washing and after washing. To handle that crazy amount of data, they used this highly efficient statistical method called the Taguchi design of experimentation. Basically, it's a super robust way to make sure they covered every single treatment variation without compromising the integrity of their data. They really wanted to leave no stone unturned here, so they tested these oils pre-wash and post-wash. They tested them on perfectly healthy hair and on hair that had really been through the ringer. Then, and this is the key part, they rigorously combed the hair and measured the exact amount of protein that fell out. This thorough approach means that whatever results we see, they're going to apply to your hair, whether you bleached it for the 5th time or you've literally never touched a flat iron. Well, the data came in, and you guys, the results were incredibly stark. There was absolutely zero middle ground here. Coconut oil was the sole victor. Whether they used it as a pre-wash or a post-wash treatment, it remarkably reduced protein loss for both the damaged and the undamaged hair. Mineral oil? Absolutely no help at all. Sunflower oil? Also a complete failure when it came to reducing protein loss. Literally, only 1 out of the 3 actually protected the hair. So this brings us to a massive aha moment. Why did coconut oil succeed where the other two just totally failed? I mean, it's not magic, and it's definitely not just because it's quote-unquote natural. No, it all comes down to pure chemistry. The secret to actual hair projection is entirely dictated by the molecular structure of the oil you're putting on your head. Let's break down this molecular matchup. Coconut oil is primarily made up of something called a triglyceride of lauric acid. Now, this specific chemical makeup gives it 2 superpower traits: a very low molecular weight and a straight linear chain. Because the proteins inside your hair naturally have a high affinity for lauric acid, and because this molecule is small and perfectly straight, the coconut oil can literally slip right inside the hair shaft. It protects it from the inside out. Now, contrast that with mineral oil. Chemically speaking, mineral oil is just a bulky hydrocarbon. It has absolutely zero affinity for the proteins that make up your hair. None. So, because it totally lacks that chemical attraction, it completely fails to penetrate the hair fiber. It just sits right on the outside. And yeah, sure, that might make your hair feel temporarily smooth to the touch, but it is essentially an expensive illusion. It is doing absolutely nothing to stop internal protein damage when you run a comb through it. Okay, sunflower oil is a bit trickier, right? Because like coconut oil, it is a triglyceride. But instead of lauric acid, it's made of linoleic acid. And linoleic acid has double bonds in its molecular chain. Those double bonds give it a very, very bulky structure. So even though it's a plant-based oil, physically, the molecule is just way too bulky to actually penetrate the hair fiber. It basically gets blocked at the surface, meaning it has zero favorable impact on saving your hair's protein. When you put all this data together, the picture becomes crystal clear. For an oil to actually prevent real damage, it must physically penetrate the hair shaft. It can't just sit on top. In this incredibly comprehensive study, coconut oil was the only one with the small, straight structure required to check that box and serve as the ultimate protector. The researchers actually wrapped up their findings perfectly, and I love how they phrase this. They noted that coconut oil has a high affinity for hair proteins, and because of its low molecular weight and straight linear chain, is able to penetrate inside the hair shaft. It just proves, definitively, that hair health isn't about the flashy price tag or how good a product smells. It is strictly about molecular weight and chain shape. So I'm gonna leave you with a final thoughts I'm all over. The next time you find yourself browsing the beauty aisle, surrounded by all those endless promises of repair and shine, ask yourself, what molecular structure are you really paying for? Are you buying a bulky hydrocarbon that's just gonna sit on the surface? Or are you investing in a linear molecule that actually penetrates and protects? Science has given us the answer for sure, but now it's up to you how you use it. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep questioning what's in your everyday products.